everybody. Thank you so much for starting that recording, Shanice. Good evening, everybody. We're going to get started here. I'm going to drop a link in the chat so that everybody who is attending remotely can please sign the attendance sheet. Thank you for coming to CEC 15's February business meeting. Today is February 11th, 2025. I'm CEC 15 President Antonia Ferraro Martinelli, and I'll be calling this meeting to order at 6:35. We are coming to you live from 131 Livingston Street. I'll ask everyone here to please sign the attendance sheet at the back of the room and ask the people on the call, if you didn't see it earlier, to sign the attendance sheet in the chat. Let's see, we have about 20 people on the call. And before we get started, I'm going to ask the interpreters to please make their introductions. We'll start with Spanish.
Good evening. The following message will be in Spanish. Buenas tardes. Por favor, el número, si desean escuchar la conferencia, la reunión en español, pueden marcar al número siguiente. El número es el 347-966-4114, seguido del número de conferencia o el código de conferencia, que es el número 690-809-928, seguido de la tecla numeral. Repito la información. El número a marcar, el número de teléfono a marcar desde su celular es el 347-966-4114, seguido del código de conferencia. El número es el 690-809-928, seguido de la tecla numeral. Por favor, se les pide mantener los micrófonos de sus dispositivos apagados para evitar cualquier interferencia de sonido. La información está en el chat para su facilidad también. Gracias.
Thank you so much. Mandarin, please.
The following message will be in Mandarin. 大家好，如果大家需要中文普通话翻译的话，请拨打电话347-966-4114，有输入 ID 会议号码248371758，井号键。重复一次，如果需要中文普通话翻译的话，请拨打电话347-966-4114，有输入 ID 会议号码248371758，井号键。谢谢 ，Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Bangla?
Thank you. The following message will be for Bangla participants. আপনারা যারা আজকের এই মিটিংটি বাংলায় শুনতে চান, আপনাদের ফোন থেকে ডায়াল করুন 347-966-4114 এবং পিন দিতে হবে 533-680-199#। আবার বলছি, ডায়াল করবেন 347-966-4114 এবং পিন অথবা কনফার্ম আইডিটি হবে 533-680-199#। আপনাদের কোনো প্রশ্ন থাকলে আমাদের মাধ্যমে প্রশ্নটি করতে পারেন, অন্যথায় মিউট করে রাখবেন। ধন্যবাদ। Thank you. Bangla is complete.
Thank you so much. And I'll turn it over to our secretary, Nancy Cruz, to read the roll.
Councilmember Antonia Ferraro.
Present.
Councilmember Leslie King is excused absence. Councilmember Vanessa Gonzalez Huerta excused absence. Councilmember Nancy Cruz present. Councilmember Katina Rogers. Councilmember Jonathan Davis is not here yet. Councilmember Hans Arietta excused absence. Councilmember Fernando Conley excused absence. Councilmember Nancy Randall excused absence. And Councilmember Jonathan Goodell excused absence.
Jonathan just.
Councilmember Kwame Egerton is not here yet.
Jonathan just arrived.
Okay, he's present.
So just to update you, we don't have the owl tonight. We are just operating on a microphone, and the camera is the iPad over there. So we're improvising.
Leslie's saying it's hard to hear. I'm not sure. There's a red light on.
Oh,
deactivated.
It stopped blinking.
Blinking a minute ago. Is that better? Is that better, Leslie?
So it must have been,
Test. Is it better?
No, I don't think that's better.
no?
Hello, hello?
When it's blinking, it's muted.
When it's blinking, it is muted?
Yes.
Hmm.
And when it's, I think maybe we just have to speak up.
It either blinks or it turns.
I think when it's blinking, it's on.
It's on?
So blinking is on?
Test. Do you
Is
hear
that
this?
better now?
Can I get a?
Oh,
Well,
wait,
I think you're muted, like on the Zoom.
I'm muted on my.
You have to be muted on your
Yeah,
computer.
right. Can you hear me through the microphone? Can you hear me through the microphone?
It was hooked up to Antonia's laptop.
But that should be working. The microphone should be picking her up.
Okay, and then if it goes to solid, is that any better? Is that any better?
I don't want to speak for the whole group, especially since this is my first meeting I've attended, but it doesn't sound much different to me. It's
Okay.
audible, it's just quiet.
Thanks for
It's
speaking.
audible, but it's just quiet. I
So
mean,
we
there's,
should talk really loud?
You are better. Whoever just spoke was louder.
okay.
So I don't know if it's the distance to a microphone or the type of microphone, but yeah, Nancy, it's really your audio that I think we can't hear.
I have my
FaceTime
audio off because
HT.
otherwise there'll be
Antonia is
feedback.
on.
No, I think you just need to talk louder.
Yeah.
I will talk much louder.
It would
Is that
say
okay? I have my
Yeti.
earbuds.
It would say Yeti, so it's
Yeah.
not connected.
No.
It's not connected to my, we could try to get one of the other ones. Maybe we could get the other. It should be connected. All right, we're gonna keep going. RAA is gonna get one of the other microphones and try and hook it up. And everybody else is just,
Small enough group that
we could, you guys could move closer to me.
That's pretty close.
You don't want to get too close. Okay. All right, so we're working on some things. And Nancy's going to speak loudly, and she's going to read the introduction to, I'm not mute. Oh, that's a good point. Okay. But you're close enough to my
Okay, I'll do it.
microphone.
Oh,
Oh, wait,
if anyone
you've
has
got
trouble
those in.
hearing me, just let me know. It doesn't matter. 'Cause
It doesn't matter. Okay, all right,
everything's on.
okay.
Okay. I just have that so I can hear everybody speaks. Okay. So introduction to CEC 15. Thank you for coming to the District 15 Community Education Council tonight. We appreciate your time and are glad you could join us. For those of you who are new to CEC meetings, there are 32 CECs throughout the city, plus 4 citywide councils. Each CEC represents a community school district, and each is made up of 12 volunteer members, 10 of whom are elected by parents in the district, and the remaining members are appointed by the Brooklyn Borough President and 2 high school student members. CEC 15 is a state-mandated public body responsible for ensuring that public school parents and the public have input in educational decisions that are made
Did others just lose the audio?
Yes.
Yep.
Audio.
We'll just take the microphone.
Okay, you're back.
We're back, okay, because, okay, I know what happened. When that button is blinking, it's muted.
Okay.
And I found the thing in my settings to turn the Yeti on. Okay, so.
CEC 15 is a state-mandated public body responsible for ensuring that public school parents and the public have input in educational decisions that are made at the school district level. Our council reviews education policies and advocates for high-quality education that benefit all of our District 15 public elementary and middle school students. CEC 15 serves 38 elementary and middle schools, 3 pre-K sites, and 1 high school under the oversight of our superintendent. CEC members serve in an advisory role on education matters to the district superintendent, the chancellor of the Department of Education, and to the state and city elected officials. We approve district school zoning lines submitted by the Department of Education. We evaluate our district superintendent. We review the district's educational programs, and we support school leadership teams. We also submit recommendations for the School Construction Authority's annual capital plan. And as of recent amendments to the law, CECs advise in the selection of parent coordinators. We actively seek input and feedback from the public and encourage you to visit our website, cecd15.org, and write to us about any issues you may want to address or learn about. Each school has a CEC liaison. All of our names and contact info are available on our website. Remember to sign the attendance sheet. Por favor. Llena la hoja de asistencia.
Thank you, Nancy. I'll turn it over to our parliamentarian, Jonathan Davis.
Hey. Hello, everyone. Tonight's business meeting is in person and will include a public comment period. We will take both remote and in-person comments to gather additional feedback from our families and school community members.
Kiss me.
You may leave your camera on, or for your own privacy, if you prefer, you may use audio only in the comment.
Oh, that was awful. Apologies.
Oh, good. It livened up the party here. So you may leave your camera on, or for your own privacy, if you prefer, you may use audio only during the comment period and throughout the meeting. Rules of engagement. When you comment, please comment on the topic. Respect the privacy of others, and please do not include names of children or staff. Guests who make inappropriate comments will be removed from the meeting. During the public comment period, those attending virtually may raise their hand to comment or indicate in the chat that they would like to speak. Those called upon will be unmuted. If you are attending in person, you must sign the guest attendance sheet and indicate whether you would like to comment. Speakers will be called on one at a time and will be allowed 1 minute each for comment. We will hear as many speakers as the time allows. It is possible that not every comment and/or question will be given time, so the best way to get your question answered is always to write to the CEC at cec15@schools.nyc.gov. CEC members will also be given a comment period. Members will be called upon and are each permitted 1 2-minute comment and/or question. If members do not have a comment, they may cede their time to the chair.
Thank you so much. Thank you for bearing with us as we deal with all of our tech issues. We do this completely on our own. We don't have anybody managing our tech for us. So appreciate your patience. I think we've gotten all the bugs out. Everybody has their volume down and they're muted and everything. Okay. So good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I have a very, very full report tonight with a lot to say. Over the past week, CEC 15 has received impassioned letters from families concerned about the new administration's executive orders related to students and education. I'm going to read a few of those letters for you now. Dear CEC 15, my child is at PS blank, and we have loved our time there. I am deeply concerned about President Trump's January 29th executive order ending radical indoctrination in K-12 schools. Our district has a diverse student population that includes transgender and gender nonconforming students. Adhering to the guidelines of this executive order would grievously harm these students betraying the trust of them and their families alike. Will you please publicly reaffirm our district's commitment to celebrating, protecting, and respecting all students in their identities, and be clear with the DOE leadership that we need them to resist this attack on students and teachers' civil rights, human rights, and First Amendment rights. If there are other ways you can think of to stand up for our students, please let me know. There are many of us parents who are ready to stand up for the rights of kids, teachers, and school staff. Another letter, dear CEC, please do everything you can to protect our trans and non-binary children. An affirmative statement from everyone on every level of government and institutional authority is necessary now to strongly stand against the new administration's virulent transphobia. Do the right thing, say no to this. That was from a teacher and a parent of 2 District 15 students. I do feel very strongly about these letters and I will be responding. I'm going to read a very full response to you right now. So dear District 15 families and community, CEC 15 has received your letters of concern regarding various Trump administration executive orders and their potential impact on school funding and the rights of our diverse student body. I believe advocacy for all our children is more important than ever, and I appreciate the ongoing efforts of families to support students by sending such letters. In the absence of statements from the New York City Public Schools, I am compelled to respond to concerns about the executive orders. It is an open question as to how enforceable or legal they are. Legal analysts have called their legality and constitutionality into question, and numerous lawsuits have already been filed. What I do know is that the federal government cannot dictate to states and cities how their schools function and what curriculums they use. Regardless of questions of legality, there are workarounds to safeguard student rights, and I implore our New York City public schools to stay the course and develop those workarounds. What do I mean by workarounds? After the Supreme Court decided in Parents Involved in Community Schools versus Seattle School District Number 1, that K-12 schools could not consider race in admissions, the Obama administration issued guidance that enabled school districts to integrate by looking at measures of poverty. This formed the basis of our diversity plans. This type of thinking is essential right now. It is crucial that New York City Public Schools, together with the school and community leaders, stay focused on the mission of ensuring that all children in New York City receive a high-quality education in a safe and caring environment. I also want you to know that as president of CEC 15, I have been reaffirming our organization's commitment to celebrating and protecting and respecting all of our students at every single meeting. I have and will continue to demand that the DOE leadership resist attacks on students and teacher civil rights, human rights, and First Amendment rights. I have been doing this through the issues I elevate at our public CEC meetings and in meetings that I regularly attend with our chancellor. CEC 15 has been doing this through the resolutions the council has passed, such as CEC 15's resolution to prevent and respond to hate speech. And I have been doing this through the banned and challenged books that I highlight in meetings. I often share banned books that reflect identities celebrated by our cultural and heritage months and various overlapping holidays. This month, we celebrated Black History Month and Lunar New Year. To honor Black History Month, I featured All Because You Matter by Tammy Charles, which offers love, hope, and affirmation through the Black experience. And to honor Asian and immigrant families, I featured Drawn Together by Min Lee, which tells the story of a grandson and grandfather struggling to communicate across a language barrier, but find connection through art. CEC 15's recent legislative breakfast largely focused on the threats of this new administration. The event had more than 80 registrants, including elected officials, principals, teachers, and school staff and parent leaders. Many important topics were raised, including SCA accountability, libraries, arts funding, protecting migrant and asylum-seeking families, school transportation, the importance of Title I funding, the importance of mental health professionals and mandated services, and the need to revise building utilization plans in buildings co-located with charter schools. Here again, CEC 15 featured banned and challenged books. These books were raffled to attendees. The list of books honored the experiences of trans or gender questioning children, Native American, African American, Jewish, Hispanic, and immigrant children. The books included I Am Enough by Grace Byers, Hold On to Your Music by Mona Golubeck and Lee Cohen, Dreamers by Yuyi Morales, Frybread by Kevin Noble Maillard, Planting Stories by Annika Aldemui Dennis, When Aiden Becomes a Brother by Kyle Lukoff, and We Are Still Here by Tracy Sorrell. These books were challenged in 2022 by the Northampton Area School District in Pennsylvania, which unanimously voted to table a donation of 50 books from The Conscious Kid, a nonprofit organization focused on equity and promoting healthy racial identity development. They rejected the donation after just 10 parents complained during a meeting. One of the 10 grandparents to object to the donation claimed The Conscious Kid uses Marxist critical race theory. Some of the people had not even read any of the books. I feel that elevating banned books does what proclamations can't. By sharing these books, I aim to shine a spotlight on the creativity and excellence of writers whose work reflects the rich and varied lived experiences of children in our own communities. Others may call it DEI, but I call it reality. Therefore, I will keep calm and carry on with the mission of supporting all our students, but I will also keep an eye on protecting the democratic infrastructure that makes supporting students possible. Protecting the independence of democratic institutions and functions should be, must be, a nonpartisan concern to all Americans. This is why it is so important for all community members to participate. I urge parents and caregivers who want to have a voice in our children's collective education to consider running for a seat on a community or citywide education council. CECs are a small but impactful part of our local democratic infrastructure. CEC elections for the upcoming 2-year term will be happening soon. If you have a child in a New York City public school, you can run for a seat. The deadline to apply is soon. It is February 16th. Parents will vote from April 25th to May 13th. And the announcement for the results will be in June. Regardless of whether you wish to run, we need parent voices at our CEC meetings. Community attendance is critical to engage on these topics. Please join us for our next business or calendar meeting, or join us for an upcoming workshop or community celebration. I have offered some upcoming events in this letter that will go out to the community. And thank you again for your support of District 15 schools and the children and families who depend on them. Rest assured, I will continue to be clear with the DOE leadership that District 15 families expect them to resist attacks on students and teachers' civil rights, human rights, and First Amendment rights. Hearing your voices helps me do that. So keep calm and carry on supporting all students. This letter has various signatories of CEC members, and also our 2 co-presidents of the President's Council have signed this letter. And this will be going out to the District 15 community. And I'm hopeful that a similar, or that this letter can form the basis for some sort of official action that the council could vote on as a whole and then send to the DOE. Unfortunately, don't have quorum tonight to do that, but we can review the letter later and make some edits. So now I'm going to move on to some updates. I have to always announce that we have a vacancy on this council still. We still have a vacancy for the parent of an English language learner. Eligible parents are those whose child has been designated an ELL through a test that they take in first grade. I will put some information in the chat for people who may want to apply for that. I know we're having elections, but it could be a good way to sort of get onto the council for a few months and then see how it is and learn how it works. I wanted to share a link that I recently found on the District 15 website that is a schedule of all the SLT meetings in the entire district that I didn't know that we had. So I want to put that in the chat because I think that that is something parent leaders might want, and I know my CEC members will want that. I attended an education budget teach-in hosted by the Coalition for Equitable Education Funding. According to the coalition, Governor Hochul's proposed changes to the foundation aid formula would result in New York City schools getting nearly $350 million less than they would have without these revisions. I don't know if you are aware, but the formula was updated after a lengthy study, and the governor took some recommendations and didn't take others. And the Coalition for Equitable Education feels that the updates don't fully capture the needs of today's students, and they don't account for the enormous variation in the cost of living across New York State. So they have a lot of, they have a one-pager that I can put into the chat. All my members have it in their folders. And I can also add all the, they want you to take action. They want you to email Governor Hochul, email Mayor Adams, email your elected officials, and I'll put those links in the chat if it will take them. Oh, it did take them, okay. Summer Rising. Families will be able to apply for Summer Rising in my schools starting Tuesday, March 4th and until Friday, March 28th. School staff are available to support families in the application process. What else? There is a new office in the DOE, the new Office of Policy and Advocacy. Last week I was on a call with Katie Jeter-Linick, who has been appointed to lead the newly formed New York City Public Schools Office of Policy and Advocacy. She has worked in Albany for many years and at the DOE as the Director of State Legislative Affairs. The office seems to be tasked with connecting all of the different offices within the DOE to enable them to to communicate better with each other as they address legislative and policy issues, and also to connect with parent leaders on the resolutions that we write and the advocacy that we do. The second part of the call was principally to share information on Project Open Arms, which you can read about on the DOE website. It's a plan to support families seeking asylum and ensure children are provided a full range of services. Also, notice was sent out last week that a Know Your Rights event that was originally scheduled for tomorrow, February 12th, will be rescheduled. So as soon as we know when that event is happening, we will let you all know. And finally, there is a panel for education policy meeting Wednesday, February 26th, at 6 p.m. at Clara Barton High School, which is 901 Clawson Avenue. That concludes my very long report to you this evening. I am going to turn my chair over to our FACE representative, Anthony Aguilar, who's going to talk about CEC elections. So you can just have a seat over here, because I don't think they'll really be able to see you that good unless you're sitting there.
You know when you're ready. Oh, it's up.
Yeah, so if you see it.
I can see. I can't see it from here. Oh wait, yeah, I can.
Oh, you have to look at that.
Okay. So I'm going to speak about the 2025 Education Council election. On the second page, can you put some next one?
You should be, here, let me just help you, because then you'd be able to see, you see it there, but I can make it bigger for you, so then you can see it a little bit bigger. Is that better?
Yeah, have one. So this is basically the timeline that we have. So as of mid-January to February is the application period where you can go on NICSA to apply to an education council. In late February to April is the candidate forums hosted by the President's Council, where you can hear all the members who have applied for a seat. They give a brief statement that you can hear before voting. Then in late April, mid-May, voting occurs. And then in June, results will be announced. And then as of July 1st, that is when the term starts. And this term will be until June 30th of 2027. Next page. What does the Education Council do? Firstly, they work with the superintendent to evaluate school programs and student progress. They have recommendations for improvement to school buildings. They coordinate, they actually do a yearly evaluation of the superintendent and approve zone lines submitted also by the superintendent. Other things that the CEC does is organize chancellor town halls, hold hearings for budget and other matters that require feedback, participate in joint public hearings, and provide input on school closing and co-locations. They also have a monthly meeting like you're in now to share concerns and to give parents insight on what's happening within the DOE. Then supports or helps or works with the school leadership team. Why are these elections important? Because some of the things that I mentioned before. So the opportunity to make decisions that involve your students' education, sorry, I can't give me 1 second. My power. To also help with or approve zoning lines or give recommendations on buildings that should be in use and collaborate with the hiring process of superintendents and parent coordinators. Who elects the council members? So every parent within a New York City public school does. both parents are allowed to vote, not only one parent. So now we're going to go into the 36 education councils. 32 of those are community education councils, which range from students from K to 8th grade within the five boroughs. And then you have the citywide education councils. There are 4 of them. One is for high schools, one is for English language learners, one is for the special education students, and then the D75 programs. Next slide. So the Community Education Council, their composition basically is they have 12 members. They also have 2 seniors on their councils, and then 2 of those 10 members are from the borough president's appointee. Then for the citywide councils, they vary depending on the council. So as you see here, CCHS has 13 members, which consist of 10 elected parents, 1 public advocate, and then 2 appointees. The CCSE, which is the Council on Special Education, has 11 members, 9 elective members, and 2 public advocates, and then 1 high school student who is not able to vote. CCL has 11 members, 9 elected, 2 public advocate appointees, and then 1 high school member. And then D75 has also 11 members, 9 elected parent members, 2 public advocates, and then 1 high school clerk. How to apply? You can apply through NYXA, which is the New York City Schools account. If you do not have an account set up, please reach out to your parent coordinator to assist with opening an account. Eligibility for councils is linked on NYXA. So once you are applying, it will link you to what you qualify for. So as you see here in this picture, this parent has a child in the 4th grade with an IEP, and then also has a son in the 9th grade in the Bronx. So this one parent can apply for the IEP seat in District 24, also the regular seat in District 24, but can also apply to the citywide in high schools. So they have 3 available seats for this one parent. And then in the bottom, they have a 7th grader in District 14 and is also a language learner. So they can apply for 2 different seats. Next slide. So in this slide is the data from the last elections. As you see here, we had 47 applications. Out of those, and then 47 applications, only 2,010 people voted. And then what you see here is 20,000 parents did not vote in the last elections. So we have to get those numbers up. Next slide. And that's just in your district. So ways that we can support: any banners, any election guidance, candidate eligibility checklist, stickers, flyers, parties, webinars, anything that is out there, we should be sharing widely to anybody in the district. Other ways we can support is having conversations within schools, share invitations to the candidate forums, webinars. Also try to encourage families to open up at the NICSA if they haven't already, so they can vote and apply. Our goal is to have at least 2 candidates or more run from each school in the community. So that's my challenge for the district, to have at least 2 parents from each school partake or apply for a seat on the CEC. And how can we increase voting? We can increase voting by having some kind of voting party, if you will, where we can invite parents who maybe are not so tech savvy to come and participate in voting, where we can have people there to assist. And then just to advocate, right? Promote it, promote the flyers, like I said earlier. And if anything, personalized outreach to families anyway, or anybody who we can get to send the flyer, letter, whatever it may be, so that we can get the word out. And then on the next slide, you will see some of our flyers that we have so far. As you see here, there will be stickers too. So if you go vote in a specific school, you can get a sticker. And then the last slide is if you want more information, there is a barcode that you can take a picture of, and it will lead you to our education, the New York City website with the education, CEC education 2025 elections. Thank you, and that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions,
Jonathan's gonna manage that.
Yeah, so is there anybody who has questions on Zoom for Anthony about the CEC elections?
They're just gonna have to unmute themselves, and I guess we'll hear it out of that. Yeah. Okay,
You can either raise your hand or unmute or put something in the chat if you have a question. Okay, Robert, are you able to unmute yourself?
Yes, I can. Quick question. How many of the seats that are currently held are up for election?
all of them.
All of them.
It's a 2-year term.
Yep.
It's like the House of Representatives. Sorry, the social studies teacher in me. Any other questions? So Katrina's asking, where can we find information about percentages of language users in the district? I want to make sure that I communicate well with everyone when running.
What specific data on language? Just the percentage of families that speak different languages within the district?
Probably our superintendent is the best.
Yes, most likely the superintendent. I can maybe reach out to Ola to see if they have data as well.
Yeah, and we can follow up at the next calendar meeting with the superintendent on that. Ilya had a follow-up question about how many current members are running for re-election. I don't know if we can answer that.
It's unknown. It's unknown.
Yeah. But it doesn't, I mean, just to answer from that, I know that, even if a number of people are running for re-election, everybody still has the same chance of winning. It starts from scratch. It's just based on who gets the votes.
Well, part of the reason I'm asking is the some of it is institutional knowledge. Is it all going away? And part of it is how many seats are going to be. Like I think Camille Casaretti was on D15 for many years, which was great. Um, and I think in part it was because she had the experience. She kept getting reelected.
Yeah.
So it sort of implies like if you were a member, you're likely to get reelected. So how many realistically seats are open on the CEC this year? And I know that's not a question you can answer, but that's why two reasons why I'm asking it.
I mean, we know that not everybody is running for reelection, and that some people are. I mean, some people's children are aging out of the district, and so there's some folks who definitely won't be. I'm planning to run for reelection. I know others may be as well, but I don't know that we know the exact number.
But
Okay.
that shouldn't discourage you from applying if.
No, I already applied. It's too late.
Good.
Good.
So we also have a question about term limits on how many times a parent can run.
Aren't any.
Yep. I think until your kids age out, right?
Yep, correct.
Talk a little bit more about the time commitment.
So that varies on councils. Some have more meetings than other. What's required is at least one meeting a month. Then there are trainings. You have to partake in 2 trainings a year. That's usually hosted by FACE. In the beginning of the term, I know FACE does a like welcoming, I don't know what we want to call it.
Orientation.
Yeah,
It's like
orientation, there you go.
day.
Orientation, that is usually a full day. That food is provided, but also we're giving you a gist of what the CC is and what you're signing up for, what you signed up for, essentially.
And there is interpretation for any member who does not speak English, correct?
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, depending on what the council decides, their new term, that's what you're signing up for, but I can't speak to every council. Just
They should
what is
plan,
recommended.
they should block out in their calendar the last Saturday of June, because they're mandated if they win to be at that orientation,
Yes.
all day.
And it also-
Seriously?
Yeah.
I'm not here.
I think there are other contingencies
Yeah.
that you can take.
Oh, God.
And then Katina also was just pointing out for District 15, we generally hold 2 meetings a month, a business meeting and a calendar meeting that last 2 to 3 hours, plus time commitment for any work on resolutions and time commitments for working with and collaborating with your assigned schools in the district. So we are all assigned generally 4 schools as the liaison for the CEC. And so there's often email communication plus some school visits that happen on an annual basis, and sometimes attending SLT meetings for those schools. But I think that just depends on the member and the schools and all of that.
Yeah.
Any other questions? So Camille wrote, you can look at the IPR to see how active council members are. We also need to fill ours out. There may be some councils that are behind in filling out that form, Camille, because we miss having you on this council. And I'll take responsibility for not doing a good job with that. And then Janet said, parents who run and parents who win, their names become public, just concerned for families who are living in concerning times.
that you can let us know and we can make exceptions.
I mean, we create separate email addresses just that are exclusively for council work.
Right.
And the person would not have to, I mean, yes, their whole first name, last name would become public.
Yeah,
It's complicated.
yeah. So you're saying that Face could work with you to maybe
Yep.
work under a pseudonym?
Yeah,
That would be great.
or just not post it on the website.
Or not post it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Any other questions for Anthony or anybody on the council?
Oh, I have a question.
Yeah.
Did you call
Antonio?
for council member questions?
No. I was just asking if they had questions for us too, because I feel like the questions are kind of for Face and us
Okay.
for this. Let me move to the interpretation lines. Is there anybody on the Mandarin line that has a question?
Yeah, no questions from Mandarin line.
Okay, any questions on the Bangla line?
No question or comment in Bangla line right now.
Okay, any questions on the Spanish line?
No questions on the Spanish line right now.
Camille just wrote, did you mention that the borough president appointee and public advocate seats take applications all year long? I don't think we said that.
Nope, I did not.
So I think what that means is that if you don't want to go through this current application cycle where you have to win votes to win, another option is to go through for District 15, in particular through the borough president application process. And then Antonia, do you want to talk about that?
Sure. So you would go to Antonio Reynoso's website, and I think the link is on the DOE website under CEC elections to apply for the borough president appointee. He has his own separate interview process that he puts all of his applicants through. And then he makes a decision, usually in June as well, about who those people are. He appoints 2 people.
When does that go live? I actually checked the link and it's still for the 23 to 25 session.
Okay.
It would probably be open until the end of the term.
Okay, so they won't do the appointing until this process is over?
Oh, interesting.
Okay. So that could mean if any of you run and don't get the number of votes that you need and you still want to serve, you could go through the borough president's office to try to
But if it's
join
year
it.
round, that application that is live currently should still be,
It's for the 23 to 25
oh,
term.
for this
Yeah.
term,
Yeah.
okay,
Because there's still vacancies.
Yeah.
okay.
And the only requirement for that is you have to live in Brooklyn in the district that you are applying for. Other than that, you do not have to have a student in the DOE currently.
Any other questions? Go to the council member questions, Antonia?
Yeah, so it's interesting to me that you are encouraging schools to have 2 people per school run, because there's a 1 school rule, and you may be disadvantaging each other by having 2 people from the same school run. And my other question is, there isn't, can you explain how the different seats get elected for the IEP, the multilingual learner, and the District 75? Like, who gets to vote for those seats? I know there's some particulars about, like, the same school rule doesn't apply for the multilingual learner seat and the,
So yes, we are advocating for at least 2 people to apply. yes, only one of the members will get elected from a school. So there is only, like Antonia said, only one person from a school can be elected during the election term. However, if there are vacancies throughout the year, multiple people from the same school can fill seats. So that's just for the elections. Don't ask me why. I don't know. For voting, everything, people, so NICSA automatically is coded so that you can only vote for what you are assigned for, essentially. So for instance, it would only show you D15. You can't vote for another district if you do not have a student in that district. When it comes to D75, that is for the district that the student goes to school in, not for the district you live in. So that's how that works. I don't know the other nuances, but I can get updates on the IEP seat and the L seat. I don't want to say the wrong thing, and I
Okay,
don't.
okay.
Yeah, so I can get updates on that.
I just don't remember whether if you have a child with an IEP, only you are allowed to vote for the
I don't-
IEP.
I don't
Think
think
so?
so.
Okay,
I don't think so.
Yeah,
oh, all right.
I don't think
I-
so, but I'm not sure.
My understanding was that people just vote for the 3 members they want to vote for.
Right, you get to vote for
Then,
members.
right, so then after everybody casts their votes, they will then look at which candidates are eligible for an IEP seat,
I
multi-language
see.
learner seat,
Okay.
a District 75 seat, and so then the candidate with the most votes, who is a part of one of those categories,
Right.
will then win, even if their total number of votes is maybe not as many as somebody else, somebody who is a candidate who does not have a student
Right,
with an IEP or who's a multilingual.
right. And you can have 2 people from the same school if one is a multilingual learner winner candidate and the other one is a general or a
I'm not
IEP.
That did happen.
That did happen, like
Yeah.
you can have, I think you could potentially have an IEP, multilingual learner and a general person all from the same school, I believe.
I can double check. Let
Yeah.
me just write that down so I don't think.
It's complicated.
It's complicated.
Any other questions, Antonio?
I don't know, thank you.
Nancy, do you have any other questions?
No, just to mention, is there any feedback? Okay, so I can
Yeah.
hear it. Just to mention that not all pre-K are eligible,
Yeah.
Yes,
and
that's
that's
true.
something
yes.
to look out for. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because we had an incident.
Yes, so to partake in this election, you have to be in a school, in a DOE school building. That is the only caveat. Other than that, if you're in K to K to 8th grade, you can apply. But the caveat is you have to be in a DOE building. So no learning centers.
So if you're in a school that has 3K through 5th grade,
Yes.
they are eligible, but if they're in a pre-K center or a learning center that is just for 3K pre-K,
Correct.
they are not eligible.
Correct.
So even though it may have a DBA, even though it may say District 15, and even if there is a principal,
Yes.
so just double check that before you
Yep.
apply. No questions.
Katina, Katina, do you have any questions?
I'm just wondering if you know, like, how applications are going. Do you know if we have a good number of people who have applied or no
No.
visibility into that?
Yeah, that's the election team that would have that information. I can see if I can get it from them, but I don't know if they would share it.
Yeah, just curious.
Janet, I just, which question were you following up on about the question about unless you have another child in public school?
I think it was about the pre-K question.
The pre-K, okay, yes, sorry, thank you.
Yeah, so then you would be good if you have another kid who's
Yeah.
in a public school.
Yes, if you only have a child in a pre-K center and that is it, then I believe you would not be eligible, but if you have another child in a public school in the district, then you would be.
And you get 3 votes per child, right?
Yes, and then the only caveat for that is if you have multiple parents running, you technically get half a
Oh, right.
point. So yes, that's,
Yeah, how does the half point work?
so you get half a point and then your partner
Spouse
would
gets
get that
half
other
Okay.
half of the point,
Okay,
equaling 1 point, 1.
okay.
So that you can vote for different people and
If you
Right.
want, yeah.
gets counted.
Okay,
And someone will be vetting the candidates to ensure that
Yes.
if you're running, you're eligible to run. There is
Yes.
somebody at the helm
So
doing
the,
this.
so Nixa does most of it, but it's double checked by the election team.
Thank you.
No problem.
Is that it?
and I think so. Any other questions? We hope you all run.
Yeah.
So each parent or guardian gets an opportunity to vote, not just one adult per child. Correct.
If they have a Nixa account, is that how it works?
Yes, so speak to your parent coordinator, they can get you the code so that you can activate an Excel account.
So they have to each have a Nixa account.
Yeah, so each parent needs a Nixa account.
Yeah, and
Correct.
don't use your husband's code to open your own Nixa account, which I did.
Yes.
And then I had to get it all cleared up through my parent coordinator and it took like forever. And it was
Yeah,
So
very-
everybody needs their own account with their own code.
Yes, because then you will be running as your
And,
husband.
and to be linked, to however many children you have.
Yes.
Yes,
It's gotta be the most complicated election process.
yeah.
Ever.
No idea.
Okay, I'm back. So we don't have quorum, so unfortunately, we cannot vote on anything. I really did want to, we had on our agenda, we had the PEP resolution affirming the status of New York City Public Schools as a welcoming citywide district for all students. I really did want us to have a chance to vote on that. We will put that on the February 25th agenda. And we will be meeting at PS 32 on February 25th for our calendar meeting. So we will do that then. I want to ask you if you want to review the executive order letter and change it, put it in a more universal language, if that's something we want to do now, or something we want to review offline.
I'd say offline.
I'd say, yeah,
Probably offline.
Probably offline, okay.
but I would like to pursue it.
You would
Yeah,
like to pursue it, okay.
so that we can vote on it.
Yeah, and
We
have
can
it be
vote on
official.
it at our next meeting. So I will turn it over to Katina, who's gonna
Oh.
give her a little treasurer's report.
Yes, very straightforward. Let's see. I guess, do people on Zoom have access to the report? They may not.
It should be in our,
It's in our folder.
It's in our
I just,
folder.
I don't,
I don't know if it's relevant for folks who are on the Zoom anyway, but
Oh, you want me to get it, you want me to pull it up and put it on?
no, it's fine. Just high level, we've spent about $5,000 from our initial budget of 25,000. We've got 19,700 remaining. This includes, let's see, I'm just checking to see if this includes legislative breakfast. It does, yeah. So this includes legislative breakfast. So we're in really good shape with where we are on the budget. We anticipate, Shanice and I anticipate that there will be some expenditures coming up in the next month in the district events line. We've gotten some requests to help sponsor some of the food for some upcoming district events, which we feel comfortable being able to do. There are a couple of expense reimbursements that are in process, but we still haven't received very many. So if anybody's got, there's not very many of us in the room right now, but if anybody has paperwork you need to submit, go ahead and send it in and we'll make sure to get it into the pipeline. I think we've got yours in the works already.
Yes, it's in the works. I didn't receive anything yet, but I know it's in the works.
Yes, it will be coming. That's it. Anybody have any budget questions?
So we split the Lassen and Henning's food onto 2 payments. That was smart.
Because it exceeded you get a
five-
certain amount
Yeah.
a day. So
Very smart.
I had to cut it in half.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
What was Lassen and Headings for?
They,
Legislative
food for the
Oh, the
legislative
legislative breakfast.
Yeah,
breakfast.
so it's like three something and 3 something.
Nice.
And by the way, Chobani had a lot of these leftover canned coffees and help yourself.
It came back.
Yeah, they're sweet. They're very sweet.
And delicious. Thank you.
Yeah,
Jen.
yeah, delicious.
It was a beautiful spread. It was.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
Yeah. And did you want to give an update on the
Sure.
Yeah.
So I reached out to Unlocal, the organization that provides no-cost workshops for communities. They're understandably booked out for a while. There's a lot of demands on their time, a lot of pings on their time for workshops. A lot of folks are needing it right now. So we put in a request for mid to late March. Shanice and I proposed a couple of dates to them for a Know Your Rights with ICE workshop. Keep everybody posted when we know more about that.
Thank you for doing that.
No problem.
Yeah. All right, great. Does anybody have any old business?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe I'll just mention that Antonia recommended that I send the resolution that we approved about the SCA, that we send it around to the other CECs citywide to see if they would like to move it forward and approve it as well. So we'll
Great.
keep people posted on that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for writing that. We would still like to have that researcher come and talk to us. I don't know if you know this, but when she was doing the research for the SCA capital plan resolution, we found, do you remember? I don't remember his name.
Yeah, Ahmed Abdelgafar, Antonia found his dissertation. He did an entire dissertation about SCA accountability and the need for reform. So we've been talking with him, and he reviewed the resolution and made some of the recommendations for areas that he specifically thought would be useful. Things like training for supervisors, which I think was not something that would have necessarily been on our radar otherwise. So we were hoping that he'd be able to come to the meeting when SCA was actually present, but he had a conflict supervising an SCA project at the same time. But we're still hoping to bring him in.
And it's ironic because his wife is a teacher at PS15.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so any other old business? New business, I'm working on a resolution about Twitter, X. Katina's been helping me with that. I think we need to re-examine New York City Public Schools affiliations with various social media companies. So that resolution will be on an agenda soon.
Is Facebook on that as well?
It is.
Because my daughter was just
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
She's
And
not on
Instagram, Meta.
Yep.
Yep, so that will be, I think we'll probably put it on the February calendar meeting. I don't know how much work we're gonna be able to get through because that agenda is pretty thick at this point because we're gonna have the Fair Student Funding report at that time as well. So we'll see how much we can do.
Will you be sharing a draft with the committee?
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks for doing that.
Yeah. So I guess unless we have anybody in the audience who wants to make any comments.
Yeah. Should I open up to public comment?
Yeah, we don't usually do public comment during business meetings, but.
Is there anybody joining us on Zoom who has any comments and or questions? Okay, so Aaron, do you want to,
Just come on.
Aaron, do you want to just unmute and?
Yeah, thanks so much. And I apologize in advance. I have a 6-year-old who sounds a little grumpy in the background, so I may be interrupted.
We know what that's like.
Yes, I figured. First, I just wanted to appreciate all of you and your work and to say that I regret not having been to a meeting before this sort of moment of national crisis and been following what's going on in District 2 in Manhattan for a while and have really, intended to be here. And it's great to hear everything you're working on and just like how important you all are right now, like any mechanisms and levers we have for sort of formal authority is really, really important. And sort of on that note, I wanted to ask, I think it's mostly a clarifying question regarding the statement you read about the executive order. I would also say for anyone who's on the call who has not read that executive order, you should. It is just chilling to read. But you mentioned like kind of agreeing upon it here and then potentially turning it into something you'd signed. And I just wasn't sure. I guess my ask, and this is maybe what you're already saying, is that you all use whatever the most formal and sort of elevated form of communication you have, whether that's a resolution or what, to communicate directly to the chancellor and the administration. I'm so sorry. To ensure that like whatever power you have is leveraged. I hope that was clear. Sorry.
Yeah, so, I can use my First Amendment rights to speak as an individual, but I cannot speak for the entire council unless a quorum of people vote on that. And at that point, then we can submit that as a formal CEC action that we submit to the DOE. The statement I read is a statement from me that was signed on by 7 other CEC members and our President's Council co-presidents, and I'm going to, it goes out to the public. It happened. I did it. It is minuted, but it is not an official action of the council.
Will that be sent out? Because I know you have a lot of
send it
footnotes.
out.
Okay, perfect.
I'm gonna send it out.
So that way people
Yeah.
can see the links. that
But
you're
it's on
referencing.
me.
Yeah.
It's not an official action of the CEC.
But if
But it'll
we
go out.
make it.
If we make it so, if we vote on it, which is
Right.
our aim,
Yeah.
is
In February,
to vote on it
Yeah.
in 2 weeks after the break,
Then it will be
then
sent to
it
the
will be sent to
chancellor.
the chancellor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is why we need CEC members who come to meetings.
Yeah, I would say on that note, I think for those of you considering running for a seat, I think other than your passion for our district and the students in the district, it's really honoring the commitment and the time commitment and ensuring that you are able to make it whenever possible to the meetings, because we've had a very challenging time these past 2 years meeting quorum, which has been very frustrating. So your commitment to showing up is important, because that's how we're able to advocate and get things done.
Yeah, and since I've got this moment with you all that I don't often have, because we usually have tight agendas and we're rushing to get out, I will just say that I am not running for CEC again. My child's in 8th grade and they're gonna go to high school and they've aged out. But to the question of the knowledge, the institutional knowledge, I will be here to support, whoever is on the council. And we have an administrative assistant who is
Amazing.
who's amazing, and she's a paid employee of the council to support with that. So I am always at the council's disposal for advice, and I'll do my duty to transfer all the records to the new folks. So, all right.
Any other questions or comments?
All right, I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:50.
Second.
Katina seconds.
Third.
And that's it. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Good luck with your campaigns for CEC. I can't wait to vote for you all.